Well, ladies and gentlemen, I got to tell you, what's happening in the gaming scene right now is absolutely hilarious in every way imaginable. I already knew that the GDC conference was going to bring us massive amounts of content. I already knew that. I knew all the leaks were going to be insane. I knew they were going to be hilarious. I didn't know it was going to be this hilarious, ladies and gentlemen. Apparently, at the Game Developers Conference, the games industry needed a really good scream because 50 people got together and just started screaming for no reason whatsoever other than to lament the state of the gaming industry right now. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that is not a joke. Over 50 developers met today for a coordinated group scream to lament the state of the industry. Apparently, these people think that by screaming in public, 50 of you, mind you, for a conference of thousands, you got 50 people, which goes to show just how crazy some of these people are. You got 50 of them to get together and scream. You really think you're doing something by screaming, but I wouldn't expect anything less from people who are complete woke psychopaths. So let's get into this article, guys, from IGN. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. So this article was written by Rebecca Valentine. I mean, that makes a lot of sense, I guess you can say. And it says today, over 50 game developers met in a park across the street from Moscone Center where the annual Game Developers Conference was taking place. They had one objective: to scream as loud as possible. The event, known as GD Scream, took place in an open area in the middle of Yerba Buena Gardens, where event organizers assembled the crowd by holding up pieces of paper with "Scream" scribbled on them. One of the organizers wore a shirt printed with the munches the Scream. Another participant wore a shirt printed with an ice cream cone. At exactly noon, the cluster of individuals from all corners of the game development let loose a loud scream that lasted for several seconds. As it trailed off, the group broke into relieved laughter and applause before slowly dispersing. These people are insane. I'm telling you, I don't know how else to put it other than that. This is a game developers conference. These are developers. These are people who are in charge of your games, and they are deciding to scream over the state of the industry, and they're trying to say it has to do with the layoffs and whatnot. No, we know exactly why they're screaming, ladies and gentlemen. It's because the jig is up. Like, they know that we're starting to come for them little by little, that they don't have the same kind of voice that they used to. They don't have control over the narrative they used to, and I'll show you exactly what happened. So aside from that terrible picture, let's play this video I have on Twitter about the actual conference. Check this out. Ladies and gentlemen, your Western game developers. I mean, I want to laugh at this, I do, but I can't help but feel just unbelievably sad. I really can't, because these are the people who are in charge of your games. These are the people who work for Western developers. You can look and see what they basically all almost look like. I mean, there's very few black people in the crowd whatsoever. I saw maybe 2 of them in this entire scene. Most of them are white male liberals or white female liberals. Not too shocking. I also have another video here. Oh, looks like it messed up here. Let me refresh. I have another video here that this guy wants to talk about in the conference. Check this out.
So we're here in Yerba Buena Gardens. It's been a rough year for the game developers, and we're at the Game Developers Conference. And they're going to tell us how they really feel about the industry.
You know what? I'm glad the internet froze, because I don't even want to see it, because I already know it leads to the scream, ladies and gentlemen. So this is the nonsense that we have to deal with in the gaming scene. It says the scream was organized by Scott John Siegel and Carol Shaw in response to growing discontent among game developers in the face of ongoing industry mass layoffs, as well as a coordinated harassment campaign against marginalized individuals and overall fears of worsening industry conditions. I spoke with Siegel post-scream, where they told me the event came together after they posted half-jokingly on Facebook about the general powerlessness they felt about it all and wanted to get everyone together to scream. Shaw reached out upon seeing the post and seriously offered to help organize it. Now, I find it funny that they feel, first off, really quick, number one, we already knew that 2024 GDC was going to run with this entire narrative, that there's coordinated harassment campaigns going against the gaming industry right now. We already knew that, so I'm not too shocked about that. What's hilarious to me is they want to talk about having a general feeling of powerlessness. How do you feel all these other gamers that you cursed at, You called bigots, you called racists, you called transphobes, you called homophobes for almost a decade. How do you think they felt up until recently when they felt powerless? How do you think they felt when some of them were losing their jobs because they didn't agree with you? How do you think the people that you canceled felt when you openly got them fired from their jobs for disagreeing with your ideology? How do you think any of them felt? I would say powerless is probably one of them. And I don't feel bad for you whatsoever if you feel powerless right now because you're getting a taste of your own medicine. This is what happens when you decide to run 20 miles when given an inch. You don't know when to stop. And now you're realizing what happens when you push it too far. When you push the needle way too far and people get fed up and sick and apathy starts sinking in and people are tired of it, then you get the real realization that you are, in fact, the powerless one. So then it says, it takes an industry that really takes advantage of passion. And that's broken my heart over and over and over again. The two set up event pages and use word of mouth to get information out. Siegel says their hope was to get enough people to attend so everyone would have a moment of feeling good, a moment of camaraderie, and a moment of just acknowledging how messed up everything is and how acknowledging that we're all here at this event, pretending everything is fine. It can't be a constant topic of conversation, but it feels like there needs to be just one moment of letting it out. So they're admitting that the gaming industry is completely getting destroyed from within. And it is. I have another story coming out about how apparently a writer over at Kotaku just recently quit for these same exact reasons. They quit, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, the gaming industry is imploding from within. The mainstream gaming narrative is not going to be what it's been for the last few years. We're tired of it. Gamers are done, and it's your fault. It's nobody else but your fault. You wanted to push your activism. You wanted to use gaming as a medium for change in your own words, and guess what? The only change is that you're going to have to up and leave because you're not real gamers, and the people who are going to stay are the actual real gamers. It says, I asked Siegel why they personally were screaming. Siegel replied, noting that while they had a very blessed 16-year career in games, they were struggling to recommend aspiring game developers to even enter the industry due to the current conditions, which they said was tragic. I'm always slightly screaming inside for a lot of personal reasons, but this is an industry that is built on passion, they said. I entered the games industry in my early 20s because I loved games so much, and I found that I had this passion for building them and building experiences that brought delight to other people. It's an industry that really feeds on the passion and takes advantage of that passion, and that's broken my heart over and over again, and I just wanted to scream about it. As I chatted with a number of developers attending the Scream, it seemed many of them had shown up for those same exact reasons. I'm screaming because I was just in a really good, valuable, much appreciated GDC session that I absolutely hated. One game developer who asked to be anonymous told me, because we talked about diversity in games and we were all marginalized people and we're all looking at each other and going, yeah, it sucks. For some reason we have to do this and we cannot do this, and I don't know how to deal with the obligation of having to do this just because I'm a person that I am. I highly doubt you had anybody actually tell you this, which is why you wanted to say they remained anonymous. I highly doubt that. Even in the wokest session of the GDC, I just can't imagine. I mean, you know what? I take that back. I'm going to admit that I was wrong. I take that back. Knowing the people that we've met so far, like Daniel Launders, yeah, you probably did have some black person come up to you and talk about how they're marginalized. That's the people that you virtue signal to. That's the people you try to hire in the gaming industry because you want to keep them marginalized. You want marginalized people to stay marginalized. That's the funny thing. And you view them as marginalized people. So you want to keep them there because they're easily controlled if you keep them there. Me, myself, I don't view anybody as marginalized. You get to do whatever you want to do. You figure out your life. If you suck, it's your fault, essentially. That's how I feel. Another anonymous industry figure who works on the business side told me they were screaming because the industry is in an interesting spot where our fiscal needs and our creative needs are not matching up, and it's causing a lot of damage, which I think will have a long-term effect on the pipeline. Also, obviously, a lot of people came together for something that isn't the usual GDC vibe. We all have a lot of tension that needs to be released. So basically, they're admitting that they're getting woke and going broke, right? To put it as simple as that, their creative needs, right? What they deem as creative needs, which is basically making everything black and gay, they're realizing that that's not actually helping them with their fiscal needs, and it's only going to get them so far. It's not matching up in their own words. So eventually, you're going to have to realize that if you want to go be creative, get woke, go broke, and all that other nonsense, you need to find a way to do it cheaper because you're not going to do it in the AAA gaming scene. It's only going to go as far as it can before eventually it all implodes like we're seeing right now. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it. And if you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.